Alright, we're getting ready to go here in just a second. I'm almost set. So we're going to be running a test here, because I don't actually know if my computer's capable of running Forza while streaming. So we're about to do a full stress test, essentially. But it's fine. We have a pretty good track record of not crashing on stream for quite a while. Except this time I have to avoid crashing both in-game and on the computer itself. So, let's see how well it goes. And now, you might not be able to see it, but I do have my steering wheel here. I don't want to move the camera just because the where it's placed is perfect for this room. I do plan on building a new setup next time I move that will also show off the steering wheel and stuff if I need to. But let's get this game loaded on in. This is my first time trying this flavor. Red slaps, actually. I did not expect that. I had green yesterday. It's up on my shelf, which wasn't my favorite just because of the flavor. It's a little too sweet for me, but red is a nice, smooth flavor, so I'm liking it. I haven't played this game very much. The stats that are showing up behind me aren't that big. I've done 4 speed traps in this game because I knew I wanted to play it on stream. But it seems like it's taken a bit to load, so I'm not too sure how that's going. If we start having frame drops, I will try to edit some things, but I think it's almost ready to go. I don't know how long the loading screens are when it's not the main focus. And if it gets stuck on loading, then I'll look into something. Maybe we'll play American Truck Simulator or something. But we should be good. I gotta make sure I don't hit my stuff while I'm moving this steering wheel around. I actually only got into driving games not like a year ago, I think. Like I got this steering wheel like about this time last year. And this is the G920, I think? Whatever the PlayStation one is, or the Logitech, the base ones. It's either the G29 or the G920. This game is not loading, is it? Hello? Good sir, could you please? Seems like performance is not going so hot. Okay, but now I think it's gone. Alright, so the loading bit was a little difficult, but once I think the game's in, I'll lower some settings and stuff and we'll be good. There we go. That's what I was worried about. Alright. Yeah, I don't have an Xbox account, or I haven't had one since like before they changed their system. So I have a default Minecraft screen like permanently. Alright, let's take this gold Mercedes out for a drive. Alright, first we'll do a stress test. We'll drive around a little bit in this car and see what it's looking like for the... Ooh, right. Okay, we are driving in real mode. I forget about that. So obviously playing this game in simulation mode is a little less fun. Let me get the music levels adjusted real quick, because I forgot about that. Music's going to go down a bit. Nice. Alright, and then this will be... Okay, yeah, this should be fine then. And then, last but not least, before we get officially started, let me go in and change these settings up here. Get the music up a bit, or the actual game audio up a bit, because I don't have any of that. I was watching something last time I played, I think. So we'll do 60, I think that's good. I need my steering wheel back. There we go. And if it's too loud, please let me know. I have it set to auto adjust right now, or auto shift right now, because I don't have a manual gear shifter with me. That's the only thing I haven't bought yet. So I'm going to try to get the hang of... I got to re-get my bearings here. I'm also driving off-road, so it's not the best place to be driving a Mercedes, I don't think. We might need to adjust that a little bit more, sound-wise. Because I think 60 is just too high. but a 35 might be nice. And then we'll get some missions going in just a second here. There we go. Now we're on the roads again. I tell you, once I switched the controls on this game, though, it was a lot more difficult. Like, playing with a controller, this game's a breeze, but, like, you have to really be on it sometimes with your steering wheel. Like, you have to make very small adjustments! Sorry. Well, that's one ticket. Alright. Stream seems to be doing pretty good now that we're between loadings. I might lower some settings if it has trouble loading another mission, but we'll go and find a mission in just a second here and see how it handles it. But it seems to be handling just the outward driving fine. I don't think I bought this gold Mercedes. I feel like somebody else did on my account, because I don't remember purchasing it, unless it was like the last thing I did the last time I played. Alright, we're getting up to 5, year 5. I do actually have a video planned in the distant future to do a, and I've talked about it a lot. I've talked about VR versus real life a lot in the past. That series just has a lot that needs to be done in order to get it perfectly ready. And I don't want it to be just like another video on the channel. I want it to be like the big series that carries the channel. So we have a couple lined up already. The first one that'll be out before anyone else will be a shooting range video. So when you see that, you'll know it's on. This racing one is about the 3rd, I believe. It'll be the 3rd on the list. 2nd or 3rd. But it'll be comparing with Assetto Corsa. And then I will be racing an actual Lamborghini on a track, hopefully. That one's going to cost a bit, but I ran some numbers with everybody who would be coming out with me, and I think that there's an upcoming time where we might be able to fit it into our schedules. We'll have to see. Alright, I'm not going to do the dirt racing just because off-road is not my thing with the steering wheel just yet, so I'm going to go find a regular mission on the map here, like a normal street race, or like a, Okay. So that's the closest street race. I'll take whatever car they recommend me, because I have a feeling it's not gonna be as easy as finishing first anymore. I know in like Assetto especially, I have terrible car control in terms of racing. But to be fair, that's because of my natural. Growing up, nobody ever told me that, and because I wasn't a racing fan growing up, nobody ever told me that speed was not the necessary defining factor in winning a race. While necessarily your lap times have to be great and all that, but you do have to be slow enough to wait for room to enter the... which one's 8 again? What button's 8? Give me 8. There we go. They don't number these things. Alright, Horizon Street Scene. They're recommending the Supra, right? Because that's the street car. That's fine. I need to get a paint job on that one as well. Why do people hold this bottle so that it... Oh, left hand. I will say, playing these games has grown my interest in racing a bit. Formula 1 and Formula E specifically. I haven't looked too much into it, but I do plan on watching Drive to Survive pretty soon. I don't think I'll ever get super into the shit like that, but I just think it's something cool to get into, you know? It's one of the few sports that feels as free as it used to be. I mean, obviously you have to be rich to get into it, but I much prefer watching like a racing event to a traditional sports event. Alright, we're gonna try to get ahead early here. But there is nothing, that was not a clean start, don't lie to me. But there is nothing I'm worried more about than losing my spot. So yeah, essentially what I mean here is, and if you want, we can switch to another camera. You can just type which camera you'd like in the chat. I personally have no real preference. The third-person perspective is kind of nice for the overall feel. I mad overshot that. Alright, I can maybe pull this. Not quite, not quite. I think I missed the checkpoint too. Alright, I'm gonna go back and fight. Look, I'm not gonna try anything crazy there. That was Maybe one day I'll get really good at like the drifting and stuff, but there's a lot of extra time sink into this. See, this is gonna be a bitch. As soon as I get it the first time, I'm fine from then on. But I always have one trouble area, and I think that happens to a lot of people. So I just don't want to spin out, and I'll let them pass me for the sake of it. All right, now you're just boxing me in, buddy. You and your Hummer. That's a little better. Okay, now I should be able to stay in a decent spot. And I'll look for my straight to pass this guy. That's essentially what I mean. Back in the day, growing up, I always thought that you would just foot on the gas all times, including turns. And that's the thing I've had to unlearn since playing these games. Because, you know, obviously I'm a really good traditional driver, but it never occurred to me that you had to slow down on turns while racing. I just thought those cars were designed for that. Like, if you gave them all-wheel drive, I feel like it'd be a little easier. But I'm not a car guy, so I don't know too much about that. I did just watch Cars 1 through 3, though, a couple days ago, because I had never seen 3, and I hadn't finished 2, because 2 was reviewed so badly when I was younger, I didn't go to see it in theaters. And then 3, I feel like I had and this is a story my girlfriend can attest to, I had predicted the entire plot of the movie by the time it came out. Which I think is the funniest thing. Having never seen the movie before, I knew every single little thing they were going to use. Which I don't think is actually a bad thing after having seen the movie. That was a far way to go back. Like, after having seen the movie, they used every plot point properly in the way that I would have liked. So it was an overall good movie, and it was significantly better than the second movie. The second movie just kind of felt like they had the third already written, and then decided to, like, put a middle story in there to try to flesh it out and give a little more to the world, because they wanted 3 movies. And they were like, fuck it, let's just pick a race in the middle of his career that was just so crazy because of some external thing that happened. And you know what, fuck it, make it a Mater movie because he made so much money. And that was kind of the thing. Also, I imagine Larry the Cable Guy was not an expensive pay in the first movie. And then once he became like I know he's not the star of the movie, but he is the fan favorite. Like, he got all his shorts and stuff, so like he must have made bank off those movies. And Owen Wilson didn't even stay past the first one, so it's like, it's weird to think about. I have now broken position, I'm now up ahead, but I don't want to get too cocky here, so I'm going to slow it up a bit. I would like to believe that after, I've been testing this theory over time, because I need to make sure that I won't kill myself when I do the VR versus real life for this one. I've been trying to make sure that I am genuinely good at driving most types of vehicles. And so far, I can confirm that I am capable of driving, that's way too tight. I am capable of driving just about everything, I haven't tried a big rig yet, and that's the only thing I'm worried about. But I also don't think there will ever be a time where I need to drive a big rig. That was a dick move by him. That was you have a Lamborghini, dude, what are you doing? We just did the same thing twice, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna have to brake wide so that he can get past me, or I'm gonna have to... Alright, I'm gonna go out wide so I can turn this a little better. There we go. Anybody who knows how to drift in this game would have hit that turn just fine, but I do not have that skill just yet. It's weird. I've read the tutorials on how to do it. I still can't quite understand it. I can get a decent drift off. But I know you also need to have, like, manual shift. I think I actually am on manual shifting. I must have thought I auto-shifted on accident. But also, the game seems to be doing so much better after that initial load. And I am viewing it as a viewer on my, below my screen. So I always have a little extra setup that I didn't need to rewind that. I didn't mean to press that. I'm not going to change anything there. But I do have a little monitor below it. It's like the size of a phone that shows me what the screen looks like for the viewer. So I'm keeping myself on top of it from now on. And that's our first finish. How beautiful was that? We nailed it on the first try, and I didn't even have to think about it. That's amazing. Much better. I don't know what... does this game have a difficulty setting? Because I don't think I ever remember setting them. But whatever it was, that felt like just the right amount of work in there. Because I kept a decent rate of speed that whole time. But anything with more turns might be a little more difficult. All right, I'll take that. 5,000 credits. Hell yeah. So is that the reason everybody likes Supras? It's just because they're a nice street racing car? Is that what made them popular? Because I know growing up, a lot of guys my age in high school really liked Supras. Or a lot of girls my age really like Supras too, actually. And so I think it recently just hit popularity off that. Ooh. Not quite, not quite. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the off-road stuff, but that's because I'm not driving an off-road car, and I don't like many of the off-road cars, I won't lie. But I'm trying to get to this little airstrip here. Drag strip. Okay, now this will be cool. Oh, I should have shifted up forever ago. There we go. Now give me that. Awesome. I didn't realize there were fast travel boards. I really do like this game. It just feels more like a stream game than something I play in my free time, you know? But I'll definitely get into streaming this more often. I feel like it'd be fun. Plus, it's a good way to chill and just talk about things. And whenever I don't talk about things on podcasts, this is where I like to talk about the extra stuff that just pertains to me. And like the games I'm super interested in. So more often than not, VR stuff. Whereas on podcasts, I tend to talk more about like broad gaming news or sports or media or film or whatever we're talking about at the time, or pop culture in general, or general news media. I know next podcast we will be talking about Kanye and Pete Davidson, which will be fun. Because I imagine we'll have a lot to say about that. We were supposed to go in this Monday, but both the other members are out of town, which I don't blame them for. They're having a great time for their break. I stay home for the breaks here to get some work done. But I'll be excited to be seeing them again soon. That was... Alright, it's fine. No, take your time, guys. Is my car just naturally faster than them? Is that what it is? Or are they going to draft me and pass me at the last minute? No, I'm just clocking in speeds way above theirs. You didn't see shit, alright? I was paying attention to the progress bar. Okay, so we've got a while to go here. But something tells me they're not going to be able to pass me here. I've got my foot leaded to the ground. As much as I'd love to have friends who do drag races and shit like that, something tells me it wouldn't go well. I also don't have a great car for... I used to have a great car for drag racing. I have essentially what is the same car, but a newer version, and it doesn't have, like, it's... So I had a really tricked out Nissan when I was younger, before I bought the one I have now that shows up on my Instagram page. You can actually see both. The old one was gray. The new one is like a grayish blue. The new one's white. But the old one was kitted out for racing, and it had a small... I think it didn't have a wide body kit on it, but it definitely had something. But it was a beautiful, beautiful piece of work, and it was fast compared to the standard Nissan for the time. But then a mechanic was underqualified, and I turned to go to work one day, and the wheel flew off and hit an air conditioning truck. Probably the scariest hour of my life, because I was making a left turn as people were getting off of the fucking highway. But, you know, it happens to everybody at least once. And as stupid as it was, too, because it wasn't my fault. The mechanic put the wrong fucking lug nuts on because he claimed that they were aftermarket tires. Which is stupid because they've always been aftermarket, so they should have had working stuff to begin with. I don't know what the fuck his problem was. He was just incompetent and his dad owned the business. And I can freely talk about this because we never took it to court or anything. We were supposed to take it to small claims. We never did because we felt it would be too much work. And I was getting ready to move for college, so I just said, fuck it, I'll buy a new car. And so I bought the white one, which is a 2014 Nissan Maxima. The gray one was a 2011 Nissan Maxima. This one is a lot more just natural base model with very low mileage, which is it's a nice daily driver. Oh, almost, but not quite as nice as the old one. I haven't done much to like trick it out or anything, and I don't ever plan on it. I think the most I will do is I plan on whoever is willing to sponsor a video where I get a decal on it, I will get a decal. And I'm thinking that if I ever get to that point, I would pitch it to, I'm not doing more of the story just yet. I would either pitch it to Arizona and do a one of the white can with the cherry blossom tree wrap, or I would do a brand with like it depends on the brand, I suppose. But it would only be somebody like I really fucking like. Like if Takis was willing to reach out to more people than just 2, I'd be so down. It's actually a really sad story. Like after getting COVID and I lost my sense of taste and smell, for the longest time I had parosmia. So afterwards, which is so things will carts. So things will smell and taste, but they won't smell and taste the way they normally do. They'll just taste and smell like rancid or gross. And for me, that happened with all of the chips I ate, because something in the spices that they used just tasted
Thanks
awful.
for turning out for the seasonals. I'll be sure to throw some extra challenges in there for you.
Interesting. Okay. Time tribe? Oh, I need a cart for that. All right. But, so I think for like 6 months on end, there was tons of foods I couldn't eat because they tasted or smelled horrible. Now, I didn't get it nearly as bad as some people did. There were some people who couldn't, like, who would go outside and they'd be hit with, like, the smell of burning flesh or something like that. I didn't have to deal with that, luckily. I'm very thankful. But in that 6 months, I had to completely reevaluate what I ate because all of my favorite foods were very spicy, spice heavy, full of capsaicin, or full of like the few herbs that would tick my my parosmia. Salsa even I had trouble eating, except for certain kinds. So like pace salsa or pake, however you say it, that salsa was terrible. But like a natural restaurant style freshly made salsa tasted fine. So it was something in the addition process that would make it taste bad. And that's not to say it's their fault. That was on me, or that was just something I had to deal with. But recently it's gotten a lot better, so I'm slowly trying to see what chips I can add back into my my snacking. So while parosmia did cut my snacking down significantly, it did ruin a lot of the joy. Because anybody who's seen older streams, or anybody who used to watch videos that took place during the Vault years, you would always either hear or see me chewing chips. And it wasn't the nicest or the most pleasant, so I tried to edit it out of most videos the best I could. There were definitely plenty of Fortnite lives back in the day that I think I got hit by a ghost, technically, if I'm rewriting history here. But, you know, I'm hoping that... And there's another thing that stacks with that I also think is something that I find weird. Now that I'm living in a different town than my original hometown, which I plan on going back pretty soon. So I'll be back in the main city pretty soon. I think what it is... Let's see, is this a sprint track? That's not too bad.
Turn around when it's...
But in this town, the chips, or something in the ingredients in the chips here, are just so different. Like, they don't taste quite the same. Everything, same with restaurant food, honestly. I think this town gets shipped bad food, like bad ingredients or something. And I won't, like, I'm in Utah, but I won't specify where. It's basically the same wherever you go. But the food's kind of that same place everywhere. And it's kind of weird. It makes you think that maybe they're being sent, like, the worst kind of food, like, ingredients possible, whereas Vegas is getting all the, like, the prime stuff, you know, like, all the premium stuff. Because the Taco Bell here is terrible. The tacos are rubbery in comparison to the tacos back home. And now that I think about it, I'm not sure if I was just spoiled and lived next to an amazing Taco Bell. But it's really disheartening to go to the restaurants and nothing you order tastes as good. Subway is a small exception because I feel like they're the same wherever you go because they get their stuff shipped in and they cut them up there. And I feel like the same is with Chipotle. But all of the places that are pre-cooked all taste different. Like, all taste way different out here, and I don't like that. So I'm excited to go back and eat real food again. I don't know how we got to that topic, but it was, it was an interesting thing. I wonder how my updated fast food tier list would look after all this time. I didn't realize that was a speed trap. I don't understand, though. What was... Yeah, okay, cool. I'll fail the speed zone because I passed it already. What were you expecting out of Alright, ease it up. Alright.
Turn
See, now I'm
around
getting the hang
when
of
it
it.
is safe to do so.
It's starting to feel a little more natural as we go. Also, the one thing you have to do when getting this game for the first time and you have a steering wheel is you need to remove the setting that makes it so that the ground shakes, as like the real feel or whatever it's called, because that made my because the first race you do starts on dirt, so this table started shaking like an earthquake was happening. I thought I was gonna break my steering wheel. All right. I will do the Supra again just for the sake of it. Beautiful. I'll get it a paint job afterwards. I really like the community paint job section because I suck at designing things on these on like 3D objects. For someone who's in design for the last 2 years, I'm terrible at art, so I like using other people's stuff. Can I skip this? Or is it taking a while to load? Either way, it's fine. I'm gonna just rip this VOD, I think, because I'm not confident enough to record and stream this game at the same time yet. I might need a second PC for that, because I have a 3060 and a 9900K. Even, yeah, big surprise, even that is not enough to stream a fully graphical game and while streaming and recording at the same time. That's why you need a 2 PC setup. I found that out at the end of the road. I always thought 2 PC setups were stupid, but I get it now. Alright, let's take it easy here. I don't want to... Alright, there's a gap. Ooh. The Audi's trying to box me in. I didn't mean to hit him. Whoops. Alright, let's play for a full clean race. I want to try to treat this as professionally as I can here. Alright, here we go. Coming up on a turn here, so I'm going to have to slow down a bit. It's fine. I want to be as far on the outside as possible, but I hate that you have to downshift for better turning. I understand maybe if I just turn a little harder in real life, it wouldn't be as bad. But for some reason, my brain does not justify turning the wheel around one full rotation. Unless you're driving super slow. Because it's rarely ever the case when you're driving fast. You make very hairpin turns in real life, or very hairpin movements in real life. Also, the big thing about this town is I spend a lot of time driving through, like, driving highway. There is, like, very little residential roads or street roads. So you're at 70 or above on average. Some places are 85. Oh, we getting braking on here? That's not good. Let me see. Let me drop some of these settings real quick. I can drop some of the easy ones, like the shadows or something. Why is it locked at 72 FPS? That was fucking weird. Alright, I'm not gonna resolution scale. I'm trying to find, where is it? Where's the simple one? Graphics settings. That's why. I'm in fucking video settings. There we go. Everything's on ultra, right? Which is, you know, that's... High... High and high. Nope. Medium. Nope. High. That'll do it. I'll restart later. We'll see what that looks like now. Hopefully that'll make it a little more manageable. It may not look perfect graphic-wise anymore, but sometimes that's a necessary sacrifice to be made. Alright, so I'm still sitting here at the in third. I need to get up to these guys. There's a straight here that I can get some extra speed on. I totally understand why people make like setups where they lock the steering wheel and the pedals down and shit. Because I push the pedals around down here so often unless they're right up against the wall. Alright, buddy, I didn't mean to hit you, but kinda in my way. Alright, the inside might have a spot for me. Didn't mean to hit him, but it's fine. Let's downshift, try to counter steer. Damn it! Oh, no, we're still lagging. Okay, word. All right, no worries. I will restart this match real quick. No problem. I want to make sure that we are good to go here. Like, we will do the... So, let me go into these graphics settings one more time. High, high, high. reflection quality will go down, but the environment texture can stay. That's good. I feel like that'll be, and then particle effects can come down. I want to keep the ray tracing on high just because I really like it in this game, but that's me. So we're gonna go to the Be Right Back screen, and I will be back with an actual non-lagging game. You know, maybe closing everything else I have running might help. Like my Opera GX is just open for no reason. I think we're back already, which is nice. It's getting a little hot in here. Well, that's fine. I'll be at this for another hour or so, I think. And if it gets too hot, I can just take the sweater off. I'm not super worried. Alright, now we do the really long load, and then we're good to go. But it's fine. I've got plenty of drinks to keep me hydrated. Game crashed that time. What a interesting situation there. Let me see what happened. I'll try launching it one more time. If that doesn't work, then I will end the stream for today. Well, actually, we've still got an hour. If we've still got a problem, we're gonna be right back. If it doesn't load again, I'll launch ATS, American Truck Simulator, and we'll do that for a little bit. Maybe we'll do Squadrons. I don't know. No, Squadrons will require setting up the HOTAS, and the HOTAS takes longer to set up than the steering wheel, honestly. The day I get my official like house as an adult, I cannot wait to build the best setup ever. I'll talk about it more in just a second, so I'm on camera during it. But all right, please, come on, don't break on me. You got this whole. You did it just fine last time. I think what I made the mistake of doing was focusing the screen on it while it was expecting it to stay strong. Obviously, luckily the stream didn't crash. That's the harder one to fix. I would have just given up if that was the case, but no, it's good. I might do, so I still haven't started the Pokemon Diamond Pearl, or Pokemon Brilliant Diamonds Let's Play yet, because I haven't decided whether it's better streamed or recorded, but I think streaming might be the way to go. I'm going to try to stream more Switch games now that Nintendo Switch Sports is coming up pretty soon. Okay, there we go. The rule of loading this game is I can't load it, or I have to load it while it's not staring at the game. All right, now if it just stays focused on the game itself, we shouldn't have any problem. Right, dirt road. This is a terrible place to have a house if you're driving a non-off-road car, I've just realized. All right, where do we want to go from here? I don't want to go too far from where we are because it's a long drive to get there, but we'll take this Jungle Descent street race. That feels doable. Alright, just a little bit of rough riding to get there, and then we should be good. Alright, and then if the game has quality issues again, I'll look into the perfect like set of graphics settings to look nice and still stream nice before the next stream comes around. Because I do not want to inconvenience the quality of the stream just for the quality of the game.
Turn left.
But I know if it gets too ugly to the point where it looks like Forza 4, there's no point in not playing Forza 4, you know?
In 200 meters, turn sharp left.
I do really love the, where's the audio? I do really love the, where's the car volume? Actually, you know what, let me just, 29, and the car can go down a little bit. Yes, save and continue. I was really, like, I don't know if it's me, but like the engine sound got louder there after restarting it.
In 400 meters,
But no harm. I need to not downshift all the way to 1, though. That's my mistake. You know, it's crazy. The amount of effort it takes to set up the steering wheels support in GTA is, like, way more work than is worth it. How do you turn the fucking radio off again? That's the wrong button. But I just realized now that the radio's been acting up the whole time. That's camera mode? Maybe one day I'll get really into this game and like really like the cars or something, but I really doubt that. There we go. Turn
400 meters. Turn left.
There we go. No more radio. Not in this game. Who knows if they're copyright free or not.
Turn left.
And then if the music needs to come up that we're playing already, let me know. I can put... Actually, yeah, it might need to come up a little bit. I'll do it when we're loading the next race. I think for the sake of keeping... Oh, no, would you look at that? It's already lagging. Okay. That's an interesting predicament, because you would think it'd be... You would think it would be fine, like it has been for the first 30 minutes, but if I restart the stream, will that solve the problem? I'm gonna really quickly restart the